What's up, world? I'm Cameron McKinney, and this is Pop Culture Spotlight, a podcast about the movie Bugonia. Here's a quick synopsis. A man kidnaps a CEO, believing her to be an alien. The film stars Jessie Plemons, Emma Stone, Aidan Delbus, Stavros Halkias, and Alicia Silverstone. Standout performances. Jessie Plemons has become, in the eyes of many, one of the best, if not the best actor working today. And before I talk about his work in Bugonia, I want to highlight my favorite of his performances. The first being 2016's Other People, where he plays David, a comedy writer who moves back in with his family because his mom is ill. He's able to demonstrate he's not only a good dramatic actor, but he's also super funny. Then you have 2018's Game Night, where he plays Gary, a lonely cop who is upset by the fact he wasn't invited to his neighbor's game night. I absolutely love that film, and Plemons gives the best performance in it. 2021 was filled with great Jessie Plemons performances, but none, in my opinion, better than Judas and the Black Messiah, where he plays FBI agent Roy Mitchell. He's the villain of the movie and really sinister. And finally, you have his two performances from last year, the first being Civil War. It's one of the best one-scene performances of all time, and Kinds of Kindness, where he plays three different characters in three different stories. Robert, a regular guy who has a controlling boss. Daniel, a cop whose wife went missing. And Andrew, a member of a cult. It is absolutely ridiculous that Jessie Plemons was not Oscar nominated for either of those two performances last year. That gets us to Bugonia, his second film with director Yorgos Lanthimos after Kinds of Kindness. In it, he plays Teddy, who is fully convinced CEO Michelle Fuller is an alien. Plemons is one of the few actors who could play this guy and convey real emotions. There's also something really scary about him. Here's what Plemons himself told Michael B. Jordan on Variety's Actors on Actors about the character. Quote, "As twisted as his methods are, there's this feeling in modern times where the world seems to be a scary place, and that there are a lot of amazing people out there that want to help. It's like, where do you direct this energy?" Teddy has that to an overwhelming degree in his mind in the story that he was telling himself he's the hero. We all have how we see ourselves, and then there's objective reality, but as an actor, the objective really didn't matter. End quote. Plemons will next be in The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping, taking over the role of Plutarch Heavensby, who was previously played by the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman, an actor some have compared Plemons to. Jessie Plemons is also going to be in the next film from director Alejandro Iñárritu with none other than Tom Cruise. This is the fourth time Emma Stone has been in a film directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, and I think she's really good in the movie, playing the CEO who is scared for her life, but I don't think it compares to her work in The Favorite and Poor Things. She's the best thing in those movies. They gave her compelling emotional arcs and also showcased that when she wants to be, she can be the funniest actress on the planet. I don't mean this as an insult, but in the last two Lanthimos movies, she's getting upstaged by Jessie Plemons, and it's not her fault. He's been given the bigger showcases both times in the end. She's giving a good subtle performance, but that's not what I personally want from Emma Stone. I want her to be in movies like Poor Things, where she's doing things that only Emma Stone can do. I want to watch a movie and go, wow, Emma Stone is the only actress capable of doing that. And I didn't feel that way about Kinds of Kindness, and I don't feel that way about Bugonia. In those movies, she's giving good performances, but I think other actresses could have given similar performances. There is no other actor on planet Earth who could have done what Emma Stone did in the movie Poor Things, and I felt the exact same way about The Favorite. To put it in simpler terms, I believe Emma Stone is a one-of-a-kind actress who should be given one-of-a-kind roles. And finally, one of the biggest bright spots of the film is the debut of Aidan Delbus, who plays Teddy's cousin, Dawn, who is helping Teddy kidnap Michelle, the CEO, who they believe to be an alien. I believe he's the emotional element that helps audiences connect with this movie. So when it comes to director Yorgos Lanthimos, the movies of his that I connect with the most are The Favorite and Poor Things. And what these movies have in common, other than Lanthimos and Emma Stone, is the fact that they are written by Tony McNamara, who, for my money, is one of the best writers. I just think those movies are two of the funniest recent films, and they are rare Oscar movies that are also super entertaining. They both have signature styles and specific tones, and that has a lot to do with McNamara, who also created and wrote the series The Great, and was the writer of the Emma Stone-led Cruella, which is a way better movie than it deserves being. I admire the other movies Lanthimos has made: The Lobster, Killing of a Sacred Deer, Kinds of Kindness, and Bugonia. They just, for me anyways, don't reach the level and heights of The Favorite and Poor Things. And I by no means believe that to be the consensus. I believe there are so many people out there who think this movie is up there with his best work, and that the most interesting directors are the ones who people like for different reasons. You can have a real debate about what his best movies are. But it's also worth noting that those two movies that are my favorite are the ones who have hit the mainstream the best. I mean, The Favorite made $96 million and Poor Things made over $117 million. Those are the movies that have hit audiences. And I'm sure there are some of you out there that view those two movies as his most basic movies. I don't feel that way. I mean, those movies are extraordinary to me, and I don't believe that another filmmaker could have made them. That's what's so great about The Favorite and Poor Things. It's the perfect combination of director, actress, and screenwriter in both movies. There's a reason why those are the two movies that people walked away winning the Best Actress Oscar. Olivia Colman won for The Favorite, and Emma Stone won for Poor Things, although I could argue that Emma Stone should have won for both movies. Let's get into Bugonia, a film that has a lot to say about modern times. The characters rely on the internet to get their information. The target of the movie is also a successful CEO, and as we all know, so many people nowadays have strong opinions about them. And here's what I think: the emotional elements of the movie work better than the social commentary, and there is a shocking reveal near the end of this movie that I do not want to spoil. But how effective that works on you is really telling about how you feel about this movie overall. We are living in an age where movie criticism is an extreme measure, in that you either love a movie or hate a movie, and I do believe there is an in-between, and that's how I feel about the movie Bugonia. I like the movie. I admit that it's really well made. I admit the performances in it are really good. What I won't admit is that it's a great movie, because I don't think it's a great movie. It's a movie that I wanted more from because of the people involved. And not to get into a whole discussion about how I would rank the movies of Yorgos Lanthimos, but I liked Kinds of Kindness better than I liked Bugonia. I think Emma Stone is better in Kinds of Kindness, and so is Jessie Plemons. And here's the thought I have about Yorgos Lanthimos: maybe the guy needs to slow down. He's had 3 movies come out in consecutive years: Poor Things, Kinds of Kindness, and Bugonia. And part of me understands that because Poor Things was a hit. It made money and people loved it. So he's probably taking advantage of the moment he has to make the movies he wants to make. But at the same time, he's not giving you any time to miss him as a filmmaker. That's what the other directors do. They make a movie and then they make you wait 3 to 4 years before the next one. That's why I think it would benefit him to take a few years off, and I've heard some recent interviews where it sounds like that's going to be the case, that he's going to be taking a break for a while. And my take on this has absolutely nothing to do with how I feel about the movie Bugonia. It's how I feel about the fact that we don't treat it as a huge event when the next movie comes out by Yorgos Lanthimos, because there's so many movies coming out from Yorgos Lanthimos. I mean, here's a movie director who's making 4 movies in a row with arguably the most popular actress of her generation, Emma Stone, and he's not spacing out the movies. I mean, people saw The Favorite, people saw Poor Things, they're not seeing Kinds of Kindness, and they didn't really see Bugonia. Box office, this movie has only made $39 million. And really, all of this is just an observation, and I'm left wondering if this is always going to be the case for Lanthimos. Is he always going to go back and forth between mainstream movies that hit well with audiences and these stranger films like Kinds of Kindness and Bugonia? I usually like when directors pair with one actor and make movie after movie after movie, but I have to admit, I need the collaboration between Yorgos Lanthimos and Emma Stone to take a pause. I want to see them do other things with other people. I want Lanthimos to work with other actors outside of Emma Stone. I mean, I think we're talking about a movie in Bugonia that is possibly not the best suited to star Emma Stone. And getting back to what I was saying earlier about Emma Stone, I believe every movie I see her in should be a showcase of the fact that she is one of the most talented actors of her generation. I want to see her play roles that nobody else is capable of playing. It's been a while since she was the lead of a movie that was not directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. She was in Ari Aster's Eddington. That was another movie where I thought, yes, Emma Stone was really good in it, but it could have been played by another performer as well. I just want to see her work with a number of other great directors. I want to see her work with Greta Gerwig, Sofia Coppola. Can I get another Emma Stone movie directed by Damien Chazelle? And as for co-stars, I mean, can I get a 4th movie with Ryan Gosling? Please, it's been far too long. It's been since La La Land since we saw her in a movie with Gosling. And maybe what I'm talking about on this podcast has absolutely nothing to do with the movie Bugonia, but that's how I feel. I want to see Emma Stone make different kinds of movies with different kind of directors, and I want Yorgos Lanthimos to work with other actors. Like, I want to see another collaboration between Yorgos Lanthimos and Colin Farrell, or Lanthimos and Rachel Weisz. As for new collaborators I'd like to see him work with, like, I think Rooney Mara would be perfect in a movie directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. I think she really would have worked in the movie Bugonia. Maybe what I'm really learning these past 2 movies of Yorgos Lanthimos is that I like Tony McNamara as a screenwriter than I do Yorgos Lanthimos as a director. But I don't always believe that's going to be the case. Like, I do believe this is somebody who is capable of making a great movie without it being written by McNamara. But those 2 movies hit the most because they are one of a kind. The dialogue is so rich, it carries the movie and makes both The Favorite and Poor Things endlessly entertaining. Overall, Bugonia works as a movie. I think it's good. It's just not as riveting as Lanthimos' recent films. And that's one thing that happens to a director. The more movies they make, the more they inevitably get compared to your past films. And that seems both fair and unfair at the same time. But again, I think what's happening with Lanthimos is he's making so many movies in a row, it's impossible not to compare Kinds of Kindness and Bugonia to Poor Things. There's just not enough time in between these movies for them to fully separate themselves. I mean, there's a huge amount of you that don't even know the movie Kinds of Kindness even existed when it came out, or still don't know that it exists for that matter. Oscar chances, many people are predicting both Plemons and Stones get nominated for their performances. I'm not convinced. The case is that Plemons is up against a lot of big names. Leonardo DiCaprio is a lock. Timothée Chalamet feels like a lock. Michael B. Jordan should be a lock. And then you have the likes of Joel Edgerton, George Clooney, and I'm still not counting out Jeremy Allen White. If Stone gets nominated, this would just be an example of people feeling differently about her than I do, and that's okay. It's okay to want different things from an actor. This is just not the type of role and performance I want from Emma Stone. I'm not saying it's bad. I do not believe it to be an Oscar-worthy performance. But at the end of the day, I'm not the Oscars, and I'm not going to be surprised if she gets in. I do not believe Yorgos Lanthimos is going to get a Best Director nomination, although he is Yorgos Lanthimos, so there's always a chance. If he made a movie, he can get nominated for Best Director. As of this moment, I believe there's a big chance that the movie Bugonia gets a Best Picture nomination, because I do think that most critics feel differently about this movie, and the people in the industry feel different about this movie than I do. I'm looking at it as just another movie, while others are viewing it as one of the best movies Yorgos Lanthimos has ever made. Whether it happens or not, it's clear that this movie is not hitting as well as The Favorite and Poor Things. Those movies were being discussed in a much wider basis. Like, so many people were talking about the movie Poor Things. It had hype around it. The Favorite before it had hype around it. I'm not getting a sense that there's any hype around the movie Bugonia. There's a number of people who really love this movie and defend it, but those people are not the loudest in the room. So while I might be expecting this movie to get a Best Picture nomination, I will not be shocked if it doesn't, because I do think there are people out there that feel the same way that I do, that it's not on par with the other movies made by these people. I know most probably don't agree with what I'm about to say, but for Emma Stone in particular to get another Oscar nomination, shouldn't she have to do something that equals or is better than what she did in the movies La La Land and Poor Things? I mean, we are talking about somebody who has already won the Oscar twice. It should be a big deal when she gets an Oscar nomination. It should not be whenever she's in a movie we give her the nomination. And I know it's kind of been like that in the past with people like Meryl Streep. I mean, it used to be if Meryl Streep was the lead of a movie, she was probably going to get a Best Leading Actress nomination. I am comparing Emma Stone to her past work just as much as I am comparing her to the other performances of the year 2025, and maybe that's fair, maybe it isn't. That's just how I feel about it. If you've been listening, maybe you feel like I'm being negative towards this movie. I'm not even mixed on this movie. I think it's a good movie, but I just kind of get frustrated the way that some people are talking about this movie. like it's the best movie Yorgos Lanthimos has ever done. It's the best movie that Emma Stone has ever done. It's the best movie that Jessie Plemons has ever done. Neither of those three things are true. Most likely, I'm just more annoyed about the narrative surrounding this movie than I am towards the actual movie itself, which I think is good. Do I think it's great? Absolutely not. I'm not down on the movie Bugonia. I just want more from the people who made it, because they are the best of the best. Thanks for listening to this edition of Pop Culture Spotlight. I'm Cameron McKinney, and there'll be a new episode of the podcast every Thursday on Apple Podcast and Spotify. I recommend you check out Bugonia. Next week on the podcast, I'm talking about the film J. Kelly from writer-director Noah Baumbach, starring George Clooney and Adam Sandler. So tune into that and please rate, review, and subscribe.